Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, Adam Cruz, and we're live and direct right here on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at freedomradiohour.com. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, the Freedom Radio Hour is here not only giving you fantastic music, but we're here to be your number one source for music business news and trends from around the globe. I'd like to take this opportunity to let our listeners and our viewers know that we've got our website, freedomradiohour.com, our free app. Download Freedom Radio Hour, the free app. Make sure that you check out our YouTube channel. Make sure that you download our podcast everywhere where you can get your podcast and leave a review. It's all very helpful. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump right into it. It's been quite the last couple of weeks or so as we deal with the COVID-19 epidemic, the pandemic. As you know, it's really changing the world each and every day. We're getting more information about this virus and about how much of us will be impacted by the spread of this virus. So on the onset, I was trying to figure out how to put this episode together. While this is a very difficult time to live in, I think it's important to remind each other of the basic rules of what we have to deal with right now. Some of you may know it, but some of you may not. So I went on to the World Health Organization's website. That's WHO for short. So the WHO website had 5 tips that I'd like to share with you. It's the best way I know to share some valuable tips. Okay, step 1, make sure that you regularly and thoroughly wash your hands with an alcohol-based hand rub or with soap and water. Why? Because this is the best way to kill the viruses that end up on your hands. Number 2, make sure that you practice social distancing. According to the World Organization's website, they recommend at least 3 feet or 1 meter apart from each other. Why? Because especially those that are dealing with coughs and sneezes, that is emanating from a person, from their nose and their mouth. These are droplets of liquid that could end up on you, and you could transfer that inside your body and then contract any number of viruses, cold and flus, etc. So the best way is to maintain social distancing rules right now, which is, according to the WHO website, 3 feet. Here in the States, they're recommending 6 feet. So I think the point of the story is stay far apart for now in the hopes that you won't spread the virus to each other. Step number 3 is to make sure that you refrain from touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. Why? Because first of all, your hands touch so many surfaces throughout the day, and those surfaces have viruses on it. So when your hands get contaminated, it's only logical. Right now, even I struggle with touching my nose or scratching an itch or whatever. But that's an easy way to transfer the virus from your hands to your nose, mouth, or eyes, which then go into your body and can make you sick. So that's number 3. Number 4, if you are feeling fever, cough, or difficulty breathing, seek medical attention early. So that means that in this day and age, you will have to call in advance. If you are working, most of us are not working right now, but if you are working, please stay home. If you're unwell, get that medical attention right away. And the last tip is very important. Make sure that you listen to your healthcare provider and get advice from the experts. Right now, with social media and 24/7 news outlets, we are bombarded with information about COVID-19, its roots, and possible vaccines and cures and remedies. As of right now, there are no cures right now. They are working on various vaccines, but that's going to be a while before it's gone through the trial period. So for now, just know that we need to listen to our experts and try to refrain from getting your sources from iffy places. You know, if you are unsure, I often check Snopes, S-N-O-P PES.com. It's a place that fact checks a lot of the information that we're getting. And I often will go there and I'll check it myself and I'll say, okay, I see that there's truth to this, or this other story is completely false. It's a one way of trying to keep each other abreast, but in an accurate way. If you are a person like me that uses social media and you wish to share about COVID-19, please do us all a favor and double and triple check your information, especially around new updates. Why? Because sometimes it's fake news or false information, or it's only part of a story. And so you may inadvertently be sharing misinformation. So please try your best to stay home. Try your best to follow these rules that you can check the World Health Organization's website to learn more about. And make sure that you take this opportunity to stay safe and healthy and love one another more. Take time to be creative if you feel it. Take time to listen to music. Take time to find a way to continue on while remaining healthy and vibrant in our society. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk more about this music business news, especially around this pandemic. What do you think is happening? You got to tune in and I'll let you know all about it right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, your number one source for music business news and trends from around the globe. Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at freedomradiohour.com. Come back with us, all right?
From author and music industry leader Adam Cruz, check out the new book, Free the Music Business, Tips and Tales from an Indie Music Nerd. Available now on paperback, Kindle, audiobook, and soundtrack, courtesy of Mixtape Sessions.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
And we're back live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at freedomradiohour.com. I'm your host, Adam Cruz, and we're jumping right back in here on the number one source for music business news and trends from around the globe. I'm talking about none other than the Freedom Radio Hour. Let's jump right back in. Okay, so I got to talk about TikTok, a super popular video sharing app that has taken over the US and around the globe. All right, so back in China, TikTok was known as Douyin. Douyin is owned by a company called ByteDance. ByteDance enjoyed millions of visitors back in China for this app called Douyin that was like Vine. If you could remember back in the day, Vine allowed for a few seconds of video producing, and you could upload it, and oftentimes it went viral. In the case of Douyin, it acted very similarly. You had 15 seconds upwards of a minute to put together a video, and it became really popular because, as I've talked about in previous episodes, China's really interesting because most of its mobile users engage in the kinds of apps where it includes karaoke style lip syncing or performance over backing tracks, and you can tip each other virtually using virtual coins. So this has been happening a lot in Asia, and in particular in China. So when you think about Douyin, it's no surprise that Douyin would be very popular, like in the Vine style, where it would allow you to do this 15-second videos. So jump ahead to 2018, ByteDance off and goes and buys Musical.ly, a music app. Takes Douyin and Musical.ly, puts it together, and then launches overseas, including in the US, under a new name called TikTok. TikTok is a very interesting thing because it has become so popular, especially with young people that love to take popular songs and create choreography around it. They're either lip syncing words of popular songs, or they're reenacting popular comedy sketches or popular memes. It's a very meme heavy, very kind of viral heavy mechanism. TikTok has taken over the planet. I'm talking about it on a music business show for a few reasons. TikTok obviously has the music component to it. So you can choose from a bunch of songs in a library before you start recording your video. TikTok has now roughly 500 million monthly visitors, and the company ByteDance that owns TikTok is worth upwards of $75 billion. When you look at the various marketplace trends, it looks like ByteDance is on par with companies like Nike in the marketplace. Very huge company. Why is TikTok becoming so popular? Well, like the streaming services of yesteryear, I think it's again because of the music. Without music, TikTok would not be as popular. You have the two things coming together, performance like karaoke and music, to make this really popular thing happen. Now, we had this happen before with Vine, so why didn't it happen? Why didn't it popularize like it did with TikTok now? Well, some argue that it's all about timing. When you consider when Vine was around, which is around 2013, that was the time when Facebook and Instagram and Twitter were really exploding. So you can imagine that Vine really offering that one ability, that 15-second video, had a tough time competing in a market with YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and the others really taking a huge bite out of that competition, right? Anyway, so I think it's really important that we break down even more about what's happening with TikTok, because I want you to understand how it impacts us all as artists. Let's take another break on the Freedom Radio Hour and come right back with us. You don't want to miss what I got to tell you, all right?
From author and music industry leader Adam Cruz, check out the new book, Free the Music Business, Tips and Tales from an Indie Music Nerd, available now on paperback, Kindle, audiobook and soundtrack, courtesy of Mixtape Sessions.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back live on Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at freedomradiohour.com. You're deep in the zone right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, your number one source for music business news and trends from around the globe. I have to break down some more about what we were discussing in the last break. I'm talking about TikTok, the popular video sharing app that is enjoying 500 million monthly visitors, and it's going crazy right now in terms of its popularity. The company that owns TikTok, ByteDance. ByteDance is now worth $75 billion with a B. And they have made bundles in doing what Vine, its predecessor, wasn't able to do. Now, who is the big competitor to ByteDance? It's none other than Tencent. Remember, we talked about Tencent many times on this show. Tencent Holdings has just, along with a consortium of others, has just led the purchase of 10% of Universal Music Group at the end of last year. So they're looking to really be a huge music juggernaut as they continue with their plans to dominate in the gaming world. Before, I talked about how Tencent was involved with apps like WeChat and others, where virtual gifts could be given to basically tip karaoke type performances. You get into an app, you can sing a popular song. During the course of the performance, you attract other people to watch you, and then they can tip you using virtual coins. So you might be wondering, so how does this work for the music business? Well, this is where the money is made. These apps like TikTok and WeChat are free to the user to download, but what they're encouraging is in-app purchases. So when it comes to TikTok, just for an example, February 2019, users spent $5.5 million on in-app purchases. What are they doing? They're buying these virtual coins. They are spending $1.39 for 10 or $139 for 10,000, converting those coins into diamonds or emojis, and then essentially gifting them to others online. And you usually are seeing this in the style of this karaoke type performance where this is given, but it's done in other ways too. So this has become really popular. So February 2019, TikTok users spent 5.5 million of that. That's up from last year at that time, where they spent 1.6 million. So that's a over 240% increase in the terms of the spending. So it's a big moneymaker. So it's no surprise, or maybe it is, that you would see TikTok get into a bit of a lawsuit around music. So we have to back up a bit. Most of these companies like TikTok and others, they don't launch without getting the proper licenses. News reports for months leading to this launch and beyond have made sure to indicate that licenses have been secured by the three major labels. I'm talking about Universal, Warner, and Sony. But what we're talking about are two parts to the song. Remember, there's always two parts to a song. There's the recording itself, and then the songwriting piece. So, of course, nowadays we see that there are lawsuits that are being threatened. It hasn't been issued yet. I don't want to misinterpret it, but the threat is there because some are claiming that there is over 50% of the material available on TikTok is not properly licensed. What do I mean? Where in some cases you have the recording itself is being licensed properly, but the songwriting portion has not been sorted. Case in point, you have a publishers association coming forward to say, look, TikTok, we're about to sue you on behalf of Universal Music Publishing to recoup any unpaid royalties on the second piece, like I told you, the songwriting piece. So Universal Music Publishing is potentially going after TikTok. Let me say again that they have not issued a lawsuit, but they have publicly warned TikTok that if they don't go back to properly license all of the songs in the correct way, that they will go ahead with a lawsuit. I think this is really interesting how this is going to change the face of music for a few reasons. One, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and so you have quarantine is creating boredom, and most of us want to do things to express ourselves. And TikTok is becoming even more valuable, even more popular for the stay-at-home crew, which is all of us right now. So you can see why the potential for lawsuits increases with more visitors coming onto the TikTok service. But does this spell doom and gloom for BitDance, the company that owns TikTok? I don't think so. I think this is the first step towards their gaming domination. Remember, they too are gaming. The other thing that's really important to mention, giving you some context, is that Universal, remember, I said earlier that Tencent, along with its cohorts, own 10% of Universal Music. Tencent is a competitor to BitDance. Isn't it funny that now that TikTok has become really popular, you get the threat of a lawsuit from Universal Music Publishing, who's aligned with Tencent? I'm not sure if there's a surprise there or there's no connection. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm going to stay on the case and report back more of this. But I think that you're going to see the popularization, just like in China, here in the US and in other parts of the world, of karaoke-style performances using TikTok and other type apps. And then you will see a spike of virtual gifting that will occur, those virtual coins that I talked about. Imagine $1.39 is not that much for, say, 10 coins. And then some are spending $139 for 10,000 of them. So that's pretty wild. Anyway, that's all the time we have for right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make it your business to visit our website at freedomradiohour.com. Leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Right now, I usually check us out on iTunes and on Spotify. We're available on both. But search out Freedom Radio Hour wherever you get your podcast and leave a review. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. We have an app, all that good stuff. We want to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for sharing all that we've got coming out there. And all of the articles, or most of the articles that we reference, we try to post at the website. Leave a comment underneath and let us know what you think about all that's going on. And also, let us know what you're doing to remain safe and healthy during these crazy times. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead. I'll see you next time. Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.